Good morning, guys. We still have about 5 minutes before the webinar starts. Everybody's kind of jumping on right now, but just wanted to say good morning. Hey, Leslie, I see your question right here. Since y'all are recording, can others get certified later? How will they know if they watch to get certified to get their certificates? No, we are not releasing the recordings to people for them to get certified. We are looking to offer more certification opportunities, um, doing like the virtual trainings, but they can't just be sent the thing. We don't feel like that's quite the quality that we're looking for a training. So we do want them to attend the webinars.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m., and I want to welcome everyone to the Tennis Coaches virtual training. My name is Irvin Humphrey, and I'm the Director of Sports Training and Competition for Special Olympics Arkansas. And we have a special guest, Mr. Brandon Kiker, today. But before I introduce Mr. Brandon, just a few things for everyone. First, thank you all for joining the training. This is our, I want to say, eighth training. This is maybe our fourth sports specific training. So thank you all for joining. We've been receiving a lot of great feedback about the virtual trainings and super excited about tennis, as I know you all are as well. But a few things just with the trainings. If you have any questions during the trainings, and we definitely expect to have a lot of questions for tennis being a fairly new sport that's being reintroduced to Special Olympics Arkansas. But if you have any questions, please use the Q&A box at the bottom, and please type in your questions and they'll be answered accordingly. Also, for anyone that is just joining, I will go over the coach's progression plan at towards the end of the training. So our coaches training has been changed around a little bit, but I'll make sure I go over that and just give a brief overview. Other than that, just talk about Special Olympics Arkansas. Special Olympics Arkansas has 11 full-time staff members. We have 15,000 athletes throughout the state with 13,000 unified young athletes and 3,000 unified partners. We have 5,000 volunteers, which is an amazing number. And thank you to all the coaches that make everything possible for our athletes. And one thing about Special Olympics Arkansas that's amazing is that we're free to our athletes. That means there's no charge for competition as well. And that's thanks to all of our volunteers, all of our coaches, law enforcement, torch run, and everyone for supporting our athletes in Special Olympics Arkansas. Special Olympics Arkansas was founded in 1970. Um, if you did your calculations, that's exactly 50 years. So this year we are celebrating 50 years within Special Olympics Arkansas. So, and we definitely looking for 50 more. Unfortunately, we couldn't celebrate like we would like to due to everything that's going on, but we will definitely celebrate for sure. So before we move on, once again, for anyone that just joined, any questions and answers, make sure you type them into the Q&A box, and we will answer them. Also, with any sports specific training, just please be aware. I know we have an hour time slot, but we may go a little over because, of course, it's pretty impossible to learn any sport within an hour. So make sure that you try to stay on if you can and also utilize those resources. Special Olympics Arkansas.org. I'm sorry, specialolympics.org/resources. You'll be able to find the tennis rules and all kind of great resources. And also Brandon and Jared will introduce you all to resources as well on the tennis aspect. So introducing Mr. Brandon. He is the president of the Arkansas Cup Tennis Foundation. He is a certified professional with the USPTA. He's a PTR certified professional, and I'm pretty sure he didn't type everything on this slide for sure, because I know there's a lot more to go along. But Brandon, the floor is yours, and thank you for teaching us tennis today.
Well, thank you very much, Irvin. I appreciate it. And I can tell you that our foundation, our board members are super, super excited about being able to help bring tennis to Special Olympics Arkansas. I mean, I think that's been a huge kind of driving kind of focus for us over the last couple of years as we started our foundation. So we're super happy that first off to see 47 people here wanting to learn tennis is an exciting thing for us, and we want to help support Special Olympics as much as we can in any way that we can as well. Obviously, like Irvin said, an hour is really hard to kind of especially cover all that we can for tennis, but I wanted to hit some of the basic things today, and we're going to talk about the serve, we're going to talk about forehand, and we're going to talk about backhand, the three main basic grip strokes in tennis. And as you start to teach, those are going to be the things that we get all of our athletes ready to go for competition, because I know that's the goal for us, is to get some competitions, hopefully when we're able and we can safely get out and play. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the grip, and there's a couple different grips that we can use, but we're going to highlight the continental grip today. It's the and we're going to show a video here, and the video is going to talk about the universal grip, but it is a basic grip that we teach all beginners, and you can kind of do everything with it. And I just think that that's going to give us our best success rate. So we'll go ahead and play the video, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some modifications and stuff from there.
Hi, I'm Rita Gladstone, head professional at the USTA National Campus, and today we're going to show you a simple activity to get you familiar with the continental grip. The continental grip is sometimes called the universal grip in the game because we use it for so many shots: the serve, the volley, overheads, backhand slice. So I'm going to have Christina here do an activity we call the edgy. And simply the goal is to see if we can maintain a rally by bouncing the ball off the edge of the racket. And go ahead. And then Christina, for a challenge, if you want, once we've been able to maintain a bouncing rally going down, we can have a little fun and see if we can go continental, edgy down, and then edgy up. You got it. Nice job. For more tips and instruction, visit USTA.com.
All right, so with this grip, I think the best kind of way to teach this, and I know in the video they talked about bouncing a ball. One thing that we do to kind of modify for some beginners would be to use maybe a small balloon, like a water balloon or something like that, to blow that up with some air, and we can bounce the top of it. Obviously you can't bounce it down, but you can use the bigger red balls to kind of bounce the ball down. You know, the other thing that we use to kind of use as a visual tool to get the correct grip is to kind of tell the athlete that we're going to use a hammer grip, and if we're gonna nail a hammer in the ground, or just lay the edge of that racket straight up and down on the edge, and then we're gonna grip it like a handshake. Obviously it's a pretty just basic grip, and that's something that we're gonna use to kind of move through without having to teach a lot of grip changes and stuff. So with the basic grip done, we're going to move on to what we're going to do a forehand progression next up. And with the forehand and the backhand, what we want to do is there's going to be three different types of feeding that we're going to use. There's going to be a drop feed, and there's going to be a ball toss feed, and then toss over the net, and then a coach feed. What I've found most about mistakes with folks teaching tennis for the first time are the types of feed that we give our athletes, that we don't give them the highest success rate that we possibly can. So with any beginner, what we want to do is we want to start with the drop feed, and we're going to stand beside him and we're going to drop it. And it teaches the contact point out in front of the front foot, and it's going to be able to where we can break down the progression of the swing from ready position to take back through the swing path through the follow through. So that's going to be the most basic feed, and then the next feed is going to be the ball toss feed. And this is where I see a lot of mistakes with. Is we're going to have I see coaches standing probably 5 or 6 feet in front of the athlete, tossing the ball for them to hit the ball. And it kind of puts the coaches in harm's way. And we play more dodgeball than anything else with the athletes. So what I want is actually to move closer to the athlete, 2 to 3 feet in front. And then we're going to toss like at a 45-degree angle. And it really starts the athlete on how to kind of move and move to the ball. And you can then correct with the pace of the feeds and the height of the feeds to get them to the right spot to where we can run, and then we can stop and then hit our shot. Obviously, you can use this feed to then transition from forehand to backhand and really get them moving around. If you have a higher level athlete that's picking up tennis really well, you can actually use this as a really good cardio tool. The next feeding type is going to be the underhand toss. This is when the first time the coach is on the other side of the net. This is great for 8 and under players. It is great for a beginner that's having struggles hitting the ball over the net. We move them up to the tee or the service line of the court, and then we toss, and we can really get some accuracy. As beginner coaches, a lot of times one of the hardest things for us is to focus on the feed and our accuracy. If we're not an advanced tennis player, we might have some trouble controlling where we're going to hit the ball as well. So this gives us a chance where we can underhand toss. You can change the height of the ball to kind of give them an opportunity to hit with some pace coming towards them, and they can work on timing. And then obviously, the ready position, shoulder turn, all that kind of stuff as well. And then the final feed we'll talk about today is going to be the coach feed. And this is where we're actually using our racket. We're standing halfway between the service line and the net, and we're really hitting the ball to the player. And they're normally at the the 10 and under green line, or they're at the baseline hitting balls. So this is more for our more advanced players that are starting to strike the ball and play out points. And obviously you can adjust your height based off of the feed to give them a better opportunity to hit the ball, but you can change pace. With that, you can move forehand, backhand, you can change depth. So that would be the modifications for an advanced player to hit the ball short or hit it long. What you don't want to do is you don't want to hit with spin. I see a lot of players that they normally hit top spin, and we want to use that continental grip for our feeds as well. So those are the feeding types that we want to talk about. And then we're going to go into the progressions of the ground strokes now. And within that, we're going to talk about, oh yeah.
Real quick, I have somebody that has asked a question about a timeline for tennis play. And I'm assuming that Mona means like a game play, like how long does a game usually last?
A game, typically on a game, the way that the Special Olympics, and I believe that there's some resources out there, the way we're gonna do our competitions with Special Olympics, there's actually the skills competition that they would do. And so as we're developing our players, obviously beginners coming right out, they might struggle with playing a full match out with serve and rallying balls and stuff like that. So we actually have some skills competitions that we're going to roll out first. A typical match, if you're going to play a normal USTA match, it's an hour and a half. Obviously, there's a lot of modifications that you can do for scoring and different things like that. That's going to speed the process up. But we obviously, with heat and in different stamina and different things like that, you can make adjustments. But I think the first thing that our plan is to roll competitions out are going to be the skill competitions. And that's literally going through each one of the skills: volley, forehand, serves, and they get to score points based off of where they hit the ball, and they have a score sheet, and as they go through the stations. And I believe, Irvin, that's in the resource guide as well, correct?
Yes, that's correct. That can be found in the rules. And again, coaches, please make sure you print out the Special Olympics tennis rules, and we'll try to get the link to you guys, and I'll post it here in the comments here in about 5 seconds.
So hopefully, did that answer that question? Hopefully.
I think so. I asked a clarifying question just to make sure, but we'll keep on going from here.
Okay, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and roll into the forehand. And I have some videos. We shot these videos with my kids. I drug them out to the court and used them as guinea pigs. There's a little bit of wind issues. Hopefully it does clear up a little bit on it. I have kind of broken down after each of these things in some text, some highlights that we'll talk about. So hopefully, you know, the wind and the audio isn't that big of a deal, but hopefully you guys can hear that, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're going to go over the forehand swing. We're going to use the color that we just talked about with our students here. So I had Shelby, my daughter. She is a beginner as well. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the ready position. And what we're looking for is, you know, feet slightly spread out. We're going to tell her to take the racket back. So she's going to take the racket back, and then she's going to step across. And then I'm going to use the drop feed so that I can teach her contact point, okay? So we're going to start just in this position to start with so she can get the low to high motion. So she's going to take the ball, we're going to drop it, she's going to swing, and then over her shoulder. It's not going to be perfect. That's why we do the drop feed, so she can get the most, the highest success rate. So we're going to drop again, and then over the shoulder. And if the ball's going too high, it just means that we need to roll that racket face over just a little bit. So we're going to throw it around our shoulder again. Boom, pretty good. So the big thing is that we're teaching the contact point out in the front. Good. All right, a couple more. Over the shoulder. So we're looking for low to high. We want that ball up and over the net. We're going to get that racket pointed just a little bit lower right there. Good. Okay, here, one more time. Good. Right there. And so then the next progression is going to be starting her from the ready position. So she's going to be at the ready position, and then I want to tell her to take the racket back, turn, and then I'm going to drop when she's ready. So now we're starting to get more of a full swing in there. Okay, ready, again, and go. Good. And then back to ready position. Ready position, good. Turn, and good. Uh-oh. We're going to do one more. We're going to do one more. Ready position, turn, and go. Good. All right. And that's the drop feed on the forehand. So obviously with that video, hopefully it kind of shows what we want to do. It's a real basic drop. There's no momentum going forward. They get to really kind of hit the ball. You want to make sure that that with that you're just getting that racket low, and they're just coming over their shoulder on that. Obviously, as the players advance, you do get into ready, take it back, and they start a full swing, and then you start dropping it based off when they get that racket back and ready to go. You don't drop it when they're in the ready position, because then they're going to start rushing it. But this is really where everybody should start. And if you notice, you're right beside them, and you're able to kind of correct. You can check grips and that kind of thing as well. But you really want to try to get them to kind of go from ready to take back to follow through and contact. So that is the drop feed. And then we're going to move on to the ball toss on the forehand to kind of show you guys where you need to stand, and then how we start to incorporate movement in with the forehand as well. Hopefully. We're going to use the color that we just talked about with our students here. So I had Shelby, my daughter. She is a beginner as well. So what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the ready position, and what we're looking.
Is this the same video, Brandon?
I didn't think so, but it might be.
Okay,
That's
hold
a real
on.
technical thing.
All right, one. I think this is it.
All right, so now I'm going to show you how to do kind of a dead drop feed with an athlete. This is going to teach them how to kind of move to the ball without the stress of a dead ball where they have to worry about the pace of the ball. So this gets them in ready position. They're going to move to it, or we're going to make sure we don't overrun the ball too much. Okay, that's why we're going to just do a drop feed. The most important thing about this is I see a lot of feeders a lot of time stand right in front, and you're kind of like in the danger zone in terms of getting hit if you're too far back. The trick to this is actually be pretty close in front of them, and then we're going to toss the ball kind of at a 45-degree angle out here, so we clear their backswing, and then they don't shank the ball and hit us in the face either. That's the most important thing for us. So it's actually the closer we get, it's actually a little bit better for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to have Shelby in the ready position. We're going to toss the ball out here. She's going to track, set her feet, and then follow through. And then after she followed through, she's going to go back to the ready position again for the next ball. Okay, here we go, Shelby. Turn. And then back to ready position over here. Good. And then again. Good. And then back to ready position again. Good. And then all we're doing is making sure she's tracking the ball. You can modify this to make the feed as hard where they have to move a little bit more, and then back. You can change depth, but the big thing is just to kind of get them to track and move and to set their feet up a little bit more. There we go, good. And then one more. And then that's how to do a dead drop feed right there as well. Perfect. Okay, and then so basically those are the two kind of basic things that we're going to start with the forehand on. The tough thing is just to get. I mean, with any person learning a sport, we want success. We want them to hit the ball. We want it to go forward. We want it to go over the net. You can change these, you can modify these to the height of the ball if they have difficulty moving, or if they're not getting that movement thing. My suggestion would be don't rush them through the progression if they are not getting the drop feed. Then you can, I would stay with that as long as you can. Now, obviously, if you have a group of, 15 people or something like that, or a team that you're working with, you can't hold everybody up. That's where hopefully we can one-off and kind of work with individuals. But, if they're having a hard time getting it over the net, you would move up to the green line, the 10 and under green line, or you'd move up to the service line, the tee, and have them hit there. But the big thing is for them to kind of get that low to high, get their feet moving. And obviously we are, our goal is to get them to live ball rallying as quickly as we can with the high success rate there. So with that, let me see, the next slide is just kind of recapping, I believe. With an athlete, this is going to teach them how to kind of move to the ball without the same video there. Dead ball where they have to worry about the pace of the ball. There we go. Good. So basically, what we say is, make sure that that they have the right grip. The big thing with as they start to move is that we get them to recover back to the center of the court or home base. You can use dots, you can use some different little things for them to get back to home base after they hit, because as they start playing points, you're going to want that recovery. We have a little thing with juniors that we say strings don't lie. So if the ball's super high in the air, that means the racket face is too open. If the ball's going into the net, the racket face is too closed, and we need to adjust that swing path. The Continental grip should give us a pretty wide open racket face. So if it's going super high, we just need to kind of roll that over just a little bit probably. But you know, the big thing is like we want the ball to go kind of go high to get it over the net. The big thing that I didn't really mention from the beginning is that we need to make sure that you're using orange ball or red ball. The red balls are the bigger ball for 8 and under, and they have like 25% compression, so they're going to be pretty forgiving and they won't bounce all over the court. The orange balls are the 10 and under balls. They're 50% compression of a normal tennis ball, so that would be for even older kids, adults. We use those to teach beginners, just so they get a little more confidence and they're not worried about where the balls are going and balls flying all over the place. So those are the two kind of the balls that you can start with are those red balls and those orange balls. So we're going to move on to the backhand now. So I have my son Jackson here, and we're going to talk about show how to drop feed backhand.
Ready? All right, so here's the backhand drop feed. This is my son Jackson here. And so what we're going to do on the backhand is that we're going to have them turn and face us. We're still in that continental grip again. The big thing is that we're going to get the racket down here, and then we're really making sure that left hand comes over. So like we're throwing a bag of money over their shoulders, what I tell like the little kids. So the big thing is we're dropping right out in front, and then he's going to swing, he's going to follow through his shoulder. And we want to really kind of take this racket right here. We're going to rest it right here over your shoulder. Okay, so right there, good, and then follow through. All right, not so much wrist, just a little bit more over the shoulder. Good, right there, good. And then slow again. Uh-oh. And then one more here. And the big thing is we're just getting them in to where they're making contact again, right out in front of their foot. Good, and then we're kind of getting some weight transfer. That's the big thing. The big thing for beginners is that they hit the ball and it goes forward and it goes over the net. That's what we want them to have, that success, and that's what this drop feed does right there. So then we're going to get Jackson into ready position again. Okay, good. And then we're going to have him turn and take that racket, point it at the ground. Good, right there. And then we're going to drop it. Okay, do it again. So we're going to turn, drop it right there. Good. All right, not bad. We're going to turn it again and drop it. All right, that's going to happen. So then we're going to turn the racket again. Good. And then stay down on it. Good. All right. And then one more. And right there. Good. Awesome. Good job right there.
So yeah, so the drop feed, same thing. We're just out in front on that. The biggest thing that we struggle with the backhand is that the dominant hand. So for most righties, the right hand, most people are righties, and the right hand kind of comes through. It's really a left hand dominant swing. If they're pulling too hard with the right hand, the ball's going to go sky high, especially with the continental grip. So you kind of want the racket face closed just a little bit. When I say closed, I mean when they sit the racket back in their backswing, you want the strings to kind of face the ground, not face the sky on the part facing the closest to the player. So that means closing the racket face is just trying to get that racket strings facing the ground, and then really allow them to push the left hand over their shoulder. Is going to kind of keep the ball from going too far. Obviously, the backhand is for a lot of people the toughest thing to teach, just because it is using your non-dominant hand so much, and it's just kind of it's an awkward stroke because you're on a different side of the ball than what you're used to if you play baseball or softball or golf or anything like that as well. So you're on the opposite side. So then let's go on to the toss feed part of the backhand, and you guys can see how they move to the ball. And the biggest thing with this is they're moving is to get that right foot out in front. So do we have that next video? Okay, here we go.
.45 angle out. The big thing is that they start. Okay, so now we're going to do the drop feed. Same thing. We're going to be right here out in front of Jackson. We're going to toss the ball 45 degrees angle out. The big thing is that they start to track it and they get the right foot across when they step and hit, and it's not an open stance. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to toss. Good. He's going to track it and then follow through. And then he's going to go back to center. Good. And then he's going to go again and then track. Okay. Not so much of a big of a wound up, just more straight back to the ground. Right there. Good. Nice. Good. And then a couple more. Take that right there. Good. And then, like I said, you can vary your feed, your depth, the speed to kind of get them going in terms of cardio, whatever you want to do. But the main thing is that they get their feet set and they're not rushed on their feet. And that's the drop feed for the backhand.
Awesome. So the other great thing with tossing from where we are right there within that video, the little dead ball drop feed, it's you can actually start moving them. You can go forehand to backhand if they're a little more of an advanced player. So you can really get them hitting that forehand, recovering back to the center, and then immediately going to a backhand. So they start kind of a wide arc back and forth to that ball. The big thing is that you're tossing the ball into the court and allowing them to kind of move into the court and not tossing it way back in the baseline so it's behind them. And they're starting to get some bad habits. So you're tossing that ball probably 2-3 feet into the court, and they get to move and step into that ball. That's the kind of the biggest thing with that. The next slide, we'll just kind of recap a little bit on the backhand. Again. And then there we go. So same thing. We're going to look for ready position, the correct grip. We're turning our racket, taking it back low to high. Same thing. The biggest mistake you're going to find probably is the ball is going to go super, super high. If they're hitting in the net, a lot of times they're getting too risky, like Jackson did early in that video. And we kind of want to just push the left hand over the shoulder. Same thing. They want to make sure that, if they're struggling, then we move them up to the tee or the green line as well. But yeah, you can, especially this kind of feed is great for a line where you can go 2 feeds, boom, you can do a forehand and backhand, and they go to the back of the line, and you kind of keep the line moving. Especially if you're, managing 3 or 4 kids at a time, you don't want to spend a whole lot of time on one student at one time hitting a ball. You want reps, and you want them moving and staying engaged. So now we're going to move on to the serve. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I skipped it. No, you're good. You're good. So the next 2 videos that we have are continuing the ground strokes. So this video is going to highlight the toss feed over the net. So this is the first time that we're in, behind the net with the athletes. This is for beginners. Like I said, this is for 8 and unders. So like really littles. And we normally start from the tee. Or you can even move closer to the net. If you move too close to the net, especially if they're little bitty, then the net is like taller than they are, and so they really struggle getting over the net. So you kind of have to find that happy medium to get them away from the net so they can hit over. So the tee normally works pretty well for us. So let's go ahead and watch that video, and then this is going to be our underhand toss feed.
All right, so the next 2 or the last 2 feeding methods that we're going to use is we're going to use the toss method, and this is to start getting some pace in that forward movement. On the ball, And so what we're going to do is we're going to have Jackson come up. We're going to start right there at the tee. A lot of beginners, 8 and unders, will start at the tee to kind of get them to kind of hit over the net this way. Obviously, if they're younger, are more challenged in terms of getting that net clearance and getting that success, we'll move them a little bit closer if we have to. But what we're going to do is we're just going to start underhand toss, and we're going to make sure the ball is nice and tall and high, so that they're not under any kind of stress or pressure, because what we're focusing on is technique. So if I'm going to toss the ball to Jackson here, we're going to toss the ball up and high, and then he's going to go right over the ball. We can vary the depth, we can vary the speed, but the big thing is to kind of get that ball nice and high so they can start reading the angle and they can move the ball as much as they can. Okay, so we use this toss right here at the net, nice and easy. Okay, then we're gonna hit some backhands. They'll move over to the backhand, get that there, good. And now another backhand, good. And then we can start varying forehands and backhands here, so they can start then changing path to the forehand and the backhand. Good. And then one more, nice. And then good. All right. And so that's the drop toss method for feeding.
So yeah, so with this one, you know, like the video says, it's just getting it nice and high to give those athletes a chance to kind of get underneath it. This will be the first time they really have a lot of pace coming towards them, and a lot of times you'll see the ball get behind them a little bit for the first time because it's not going straight up and down. So it's moving towards them, and they're going to have to start working on timing as well. You know, it's good to kind of get that thing with the timing down, and then they can start moving to the ball as well. Make sure that our tosses are underhand. I see a lot of, you know, parents and beginner coaches to kind of go overhand because maybe they have a baseball background or softball background, and it's a little more natural for them to throw overhand to get the ball to them. It turns into a laser, and it goes by them, and it stays super low. And the goal is to kind of get a nice high bounce so the athlete can get underneath it. And so then we'll go into the very last video for ground stroke feeding, and that's going to be a coach feed. This is the first time that, you know, the coach has the racket in their hand. We'll go to that one. Okay, so there were some problems with audio on this one, so I kind of talked through this. Whoa. Oh, that's bad.
Hold on.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, let's try that again.
No.
I don't know what's flipping.
Can we shrink the video down just a little bit? I don't know if that's possible.
All right, so the next two are the last two feeding methods that we're.
I can talk through it if yeah, I don't know why it's doing it. Sorry, y'all. It's definitely not a flattering video of me right now either.
Hey, and Brandon, as we're getting that situated, also Mona's question, I'm pretty sure she was asking pretty much when will competition start, but as Brandon said, one of our main focuses is individual skills now. So you'll be seeing individual skills competitions pop up around the state. So that's our main focus right now. And Brandon, Molly Westerman asked what ball will be used in matches, and she said orange ?
Yeah, so matches, it really goes by, and Jennifer, if there's a problem, I can just talk through the video and we don't have to have it if we, you know, if that's a thing. So, but the based off of, you know, we go by the Special Olympics guidelines. So in the rules, it sets out, I believe that there's different levels of athletes where they're going to be based on their skill level. And as they get to advanced level, they can have competitions with yellow ball once they get to that skill level. But obviously, most of our competitions are going to be orange and green dot balls, and then oh, there we go. So we're going to start with that, but we're going to follow everything that Special Olympics is like laid out for us for competition. So okay, so on this one here, I'm just going to be showing the just a basic feed. The big thing with the feeds, a lot of times, like I said, players, if you've played for a while, you're naturally hitting top-spin a lot of times, especially if you're an advanced player. And so you wind up hitting a top-spin ball to a beginner athlete. And so they're struggling with that. The big thing is to have that continental grip as well, and you're hitting it with a high arc, and you want it to land right about the service line so that the player can kind of get to it and move. You don't want to hit it with a lot of pace. Obviously, you can modify that based on their skill level. But if you're a beginner tennis player yourself, one of the most daunting tasks ever is to feed a ball. So what I just did there is I actually choked up on my racket. So I'm holding the racket around the throat, and that actually gives me a lot more control on the racket. So I'm not holding all the way down on the handle. So that's a little trick, a little feeder trick as well. Especially if you're feeding a whole bunch and you get tired too. So that's something that I do when I'm teaching all day. I kind of will move up to the throat of the racket. Once you get kind of going, you can then start, obviously moving ball depth to get them to kind of move forward and backwards. Then you can start moving around and do forehands and backhands. So we're simulating starting rallies and live ball stuff, which is the ultimate goal for us. But, the biggest thing is that we're hitting the ball up with some arc, and they're being able to kind of hit that with that pace. And we can make adjustments to it as we go along there. And obviously one of the biggest concerns is they start hitting, you can rotate out lines and stuff as well. But then making sure the ball stays, a lot of clear off the court, and that we're not running around and someone step on a ball also. So, and then let's move on to the serves now. Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna let this video kind of talk through. It's a little bit longer, but we work through the whole progression of the serve from the toss all the way through contact and serve on this video.
All right, so we're going to go through the serve progression. The serve is tough for beginners because we are using our non-dominant hand to throw the ball up. Up with that. All right, so we're going to go through the serve progression. The serve is tough for beginners because we are using our non-dominant hand to throw the ball up. The toss is really the most important part in terms of developing a consistent serve. And like I said, using that non-dominant hand to kind of get the ball up in the air is one of the tougher things. So what we're going to do to kind of develop the toss and kind of getting our body in the right position, we're going to get Shelby right here. She's going to hold a cone in her hand, and this is going to, get her used to kind of holding the racket. And then what she's going to do is she's going to toss the ball up in the air, and then she's going to catch the ball on the cone right out in front of her. And she wants to reach up with that cone or reach across, and then she's going to catch it in front of her right over here. And that's going to be pretty similar to like hitting a ball on a serve. So Shelby's going to turn, like she's going to throw. She's going to turn her shoulders, face me right there. And then she's going to toss that ball up, and she's going to reach up and catch it. Okay, good. Do it again. Reach up, and catch it. This is the toughest thing to do, is trying to get them to toss it. What you're going to see a lot of beginners do at first, they're going to toss it really low so they can get it up there. Okay, good. And what we want them to start doing is really getting that toss up, and then they reach as tall as they can to meet it and not down low, because obviously when we make contact with the serve, we're going to be reaching up to make that contact as well. So Shelby, a couple more. We want the toss to be out in front, not behind. So as we can see, it's like the toss is like going to be the toughest thing for them to get. So this is a great kind of thing to get them going with the toss. To get them into the service motion, what we want is we're going to have them just do a basic throw. So all she's going to do is she's going to put that ball in her right hand, and then we're going to tell them, you know, obviously we want to go cross court and over in the other box. So Shelby's just going to step and throw, and we just want to develop that overhand motion. So she's going to step with her left foot and then throw over. And then to get the ball over the net, we've got to really make sure we reach up tall and high to kind of get the arc on the ball. And that's going to teach the athlete to kind of get the ball up and make contact at the tallest part that they can. Okay, go ahead, Shelby. Okay, good. There we go. That's a good toss. All right. And so then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take the racket right here, and then we're going to toss and just make contact with it. Okay. So what Shelby's going to do is she's going to just take it. She's going to toss it up, and she's just going to tap it and bump it. Okay. Go ahead, Shelby. And all we want is just contact. Okay. So we're going to reach up and contact, up and contact. That's it. And all we're doing is just kind of getting the spot where we can make contact. And there we go. So once you get into there, then you can go ahead and start progressing into the serve. We want that toss out in front, and very nice. And you notice Shelby's shoulders are turned, her feet are right down here, parallel to, are perpendicular to the net. Her shoulders are facing out, and then she's going to toss up, and then she's going to just kind of high-five it right over the net. Pretty good, Shelby. Very good. Let's do one more. Okay. So toss is nice and high. Contact point is out, and that is the serve.
So with the serve progression, you know, the toughest thing, like I said in the video, is the toss. It's going to be the most daunting thing for the athletes. And then once they get up and tossing the ball kind of out in front, there's a bunch of different things you can do. You can draw little circles on the ground, or you can use a hula hoop so they can toss it into that. The cone is fun. It's a great little, we call it the ice cream game. So they're tossing up and then catching it. As much as you can do to kind of toss using the non-dominant hand, that's one of the biggest things to kind of get you know, beginners kind of through. Another little modification or practice thing that you can do is we do the old trap on the side of the fence. I didn't have a video of this, but you just have them stand literally probably 6-8 inches away from the fence, facing the fence, and they toss the ball up and they trap it with the strings at the highest point. So you can see them, like, you know, really stretch out and get that toss up and out in front of them, and kind of like starting to learn that contact point. The big thing with this video is Shelby did not want to do serves at all. She was like, I'm not very good at it, you know, kind of thing. And she didn't want to be on video. But if you notice, as I kind of talked her through it, and I told her that Jackson was actually going to do the actual serving part, but as she was walking through the video and we started doing the bumps, she naturally progressed into hitting the serve without even knowing it. So that's the real goal, is for them to bump it, and then all of a sudden they'll start kind of moving into actually serving the ball forward using the bump. Don't rush it, but you know, it will kind of take on a life of its own. The other thing to kind of get the toss down, throwing the ball over the net, the overhand serve is just a throwing motion, really. So if they don't necessarily have throwing skills, that's something you need to develop, and you can actually do that before they start serving, is throwing, just tossing the ball back and forth over the net and catching it. That teaches ball tracking as well. And they can actually use cones on the other side. So if one person throws it, the other person takes the cone in their racket hand, and they catch the ball within a bounce, and they can kind of play a game back and forth that way to kind of get that throwing motion and then ball tracking also. If they're struggling, one thing that I do is, like, you can move them up. You can never not be close enough to the net, especially on the serve. They can toss it up, and it'll actually, you know, teach them to hit down on the ball if they're hitting it too high. So, I think the serve is something that to get the point started, they're going to have to serve to move into playing matches and games. The other modification you can do if they're struggling with the serve is they can actually, a coach can feed in and they can play the points out that way, or they can, first serve has to be overhand, second serve they can actually drop feed and they can drop it and hit it over with like a forehand themselves. I know 8 and unders have that modification for beginners as well. So, there's some different things you can do to kind of get the serve going and kind of get the points played. The big thing is don't rush match play. We want to develop all the skills with the strokes first. And I think that's the genius thing about the Special Olympics skills challenges, is that you can play points and they're developing those skills before we get into the pressure of the match play. All right, so that is all I have for all the serve progressions and all the ground strokes and stuff as well. I know we're kind of running near the end here. The next slide here. Okay, good. So we're going to have, hopefully Jared's on or someone from Arkansas Tennis Association can talk about it. But in terms of resources for you guys to use, because I know I threw a whole bunch of stuff out today, their Net Generation is an invaluable tool for beginners. There's an app, there's, website, it's through the USTA, and there's a link there. And on the app, you can become a coach or provider, or even a parent, but there's tons of lesson plans. There's tons of stuff on there as well. So Jared, are you on?
I am. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah, sure. So I'm going to go ahead and let you do the spill about Net Generation and all the different resources there as well.
Okay, of course, yeah. Well, first off, thanks Special Olympics, and thank you, Brandon, for letting me have the opportunity to talk with everyone on this call about NetGen and just tennis. By the way, I'm Jared Compton. I am the director of junior team tennis and junior competition at USTA Arkansas. And just for a few minutes, I won't talk for long, I promise. I just wanted to talk with you all a little bit about the NetGen website and what it has to offer. So what Net Generation basically is, it's a brand for youth tennis, and its mission is basically just to spread the love of tennis to the youth age level by providing all kinds of resources for coaches like all of us to use. As a coach, you are able to kind of sign up as a community provider and gain access to all kinds of free tennis teaching resources for you to use, like manuals and booklets, which is kind of like skills and drills for players to do. Actually, right now, with everything that is going on with the coronavirus, NetGen, they've been promoting their stay-at-home tennis activities for players to do on their website. And what it is, they just upload some short tennis activity videos for players to do at their home. But of course, these activities, you could also do them on a tennis court as well. But this basically, they're on their website and it's free to use. You do not have to sign up to see those videos. But these videos, they just help beginning tennis players that work on their tennis skills and even their athleticism, hand-eye coordination, things like that. It's really such a great resource to use, and we have so many people out there using it, just not these videos, but just the NetGen website as well. And kind of like Brandon was talking about a little bit about the app, there is an app that you can download on your smartphone, and everything that is on the website is on the phone as well. And the app really comes in handy whenever you are out on court and teaching players. You can just pull up kind of, a little program booklet with the drills to do, and it's just so handy for players to use. But signing up as a community provider, you can sign up for free, and it's not too much to do to sign up. So what you do, you'll sign up, and of course you have to go through a couple of things to do what they call the safe play process, which just includes a background screening, just accepting some additional guidelines and just a few online training videos. The videos, what they call the Safe Play course, it's just designed to help identify potential misconduct and just kind of understand the importance of just reporting such conduct. Once you are able to create your account and sign up as a community provider, you have the opportunity to gain free equipment. And what it is, it's just a bag, and it includes a couple of tennis rackets. I think it's like 20 to 25 junior tennis rackets, and it includes some balls, some barrier tape, what they use kind of as the net instead of just a full-blown net in the bag. You can just use a tape and kind of tape it to 2 chairs and just spread it out, and it's so easy to use. And then it also includes kind of a printed edition of the community program curriculum, which includes like just the drills for players to do and such. But yeah, just click on that link. The best thing I can tell you to do is click on that link and just kind of play around with the site and see what it has to offer. And my email, I don't know if y'all have anything to write it down or anything, but my email is
It's on the next slide.
Is it
Hey,
on the
Jared,
next
it's
slide?
on the
Okay,
next slide. Yeah.
awesome. Well, yeah, my email and contact info will be on the next slide in case you have anything or any questions to ask. I am always here to help, and just whatever you need, I will be there for you, of course. So that's just kind of a quick overview of net generation and what's out there on the site and just what it has to offer. So.
And hey, Jared, since you're on, we had a quick question for you. By community provider, does Coach Mark asked, does he mean Special Olympics, or can each of us individually sign up?
Yeah, individually, you could sign up as long as you create the account and you go through the Safe Play process and get Safe Play certified. You're able to, yeah, and enter in kind of like a program, yeah.
And also, Mark had the question, what supplies do we need to begin tennis teaching or coaching tennis? Is everything in that bag that you discussed kind of fulfill the need of the equipment?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it comes with a ton of balls and a ton of rackets, and really, I mean, that's all you need, to begin, teaching tennis, in my opinion. So yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, Jennifer. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's Jared's information right there. And then, so I have a question, Jared, about the net generation provider. In the past, they would have to be linked to a possible, like for an individual sign up, they had to be linked to like Boys and Girls Club or, Parks and Rec or a high school or something like that. Is that still the case, or can an individual sign up for that?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's just an individual that.
Okay.
For the Boys and Girls Clubs and stuff like that, that would be signing up kind of as a school partner, I believe so.
Okay.
So you wouldn't have to, I don't think you would have to worry about that part, but I would have to double check for that.
Okay, and Deanna said that USTA Arkansas also has equipment that anyone can borrow. You can email Jared at his email address here that's on the slide, or call them at 501-227-7611, 501-227-7611. Natalie can add that to the follow-up email also. That is got resources that we've discussed on here. Todd asked, Brandon, can you talk a little more about beat work and tips again, please?
If the footwork part, and it looks like I saw on here Cord talked about before I go to that. Cord said community providers do not have to be connected to anybody; they can sign up as individuals. So, so there we go. Hopefully that answers that question about the the community providers. But tips and footwork stuff, you know, there are a million different drills or different things that you can do. When they're hitting the ground stroke, it's really good to kind of have what we call a closed stance, which means their feet are facing, you know, the side, like they are in the videos. That's just going to teach a basic thing. As they start running and playing points, you're going to notice that they start getting a little more, what we say, wide open, where their chest and their shoulders are kind of facing the net as well. We want to really kind of teach where that foot comes across, where their shoulders are kind of perpendicular to the net a little bit. But there's a lot of like cone drills. There's a lot of drills where you can actually stand in front of them and do that ball toss from side to side, and they shuffle and catch the ball. So there's a whole bunch of footwork drills that you can do without a racket, without a ball, that we can get to you. And that Net Generation, actually, that app has, you just click, like if you want footwork, they have a bunch of drills with that. So if there's, you know, someone needing specific drills, I can definitely, my Arkansas Cup email is there. You can reach out to me and I can shoot you a bunch of different drills that we can do for footwork and stuff. But the tips are just kind of get them moving, you know, kind of keep their feet moving at all times. And one thing that we kind of do is kind of like a hopscotch, where they split step, and you know, if you're going to do that hopscotch where you jump on one leg and then split step into the 2 feet, that's one thing to kind of get them going, and it's a fun little game, you know. So we just have them jump and split step and then go to the ball. But you know, that's a tough thing, is just kind of get those feet moving, because we're focused on so much stuff that the feet sometimes get forgotten.
Thank you, Brandon. Does anyone else have any questions for Brandon or Jared? Type them in the Q&A box, or I think some have been doing it in the chat box. Brandon, this was phenomenal information. Thank you so much for breaking it down for us.
No problem. I hope it worked out good. I was a little nervous, tad bit.
Oh yes, definitely did, Brandon. Greatly appreciate it, Jared. Greatly appreciate you coming on as well, and everyone from.
Thank you.
Oh, we got one. Oh,
and
Coach Mark.
Hey, one last thing before everybody starts jumping off. Really quick, I forgot. I had a little note to remind myself. If the coaches start doing practices and clinics and stuff like that, when we get rolling, our foundation has a huge group me page with tennis players, tennis pros, volunteers that want to help. So if you guys are planning a practice and you feel, you know, daunted by the knowledge and stuff, we can get you buddied up with numerous coaches that can come out and kind of help you. And they're all like great tennis ambassadors for not only our foundation, but tennis in Arkansas. So please reach out to me if you're planning something and you would like some tennis players to come out and help, and we would more than happy be, you know, to come out and help you guys out as well. So
thank you so much.
Greatly appreciate
Felicia,
it.
Bobby, Karen, and Mark all say thank you so much. This was really great information. Cindy and Alicia, I will send it to you. I've typed back in the answers, but I will get it to you. Shara said thank you. This was awesome. Vicky says awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, I know we're after time. Irvin, are you gonna go into the coaching?
Yes. I'm sorry. This will take maybe 2 minutes, guys. Also, if you have any questions or anything, please type them into the box. But just for those who are fairly new, the new coaches training progression plan that we just rolled out pretty recently. If you have been certified already, it looks pretty similar. But you'll go to SpecialOlympicsArkansas.org. You'll click on Get Involved, and then you'll find the Coaches tab. And this right here are a few resources, and of course we can possibly throw some of those tennis resources here as well for coaches, but we have a few workout templates as well as concussion cards. We have a coach's guidebook that tells coaches how to implement hydration and nutrition into your practices and things of that nature. But I think this will be a good location where we'll most likely throw that additional tennis information as well. But for the new coaches training progression plan, you'll click here. And then at the bottom, this is pretty much an overview of the trainings, well, of the progression plan. Of course, we threw a little online recertification in there. So those elective courses can be found at the bottom. So when a coach is becoming recertified in a sport, they don't have to go to that in-person training. They can take one of these online courses in place. But the main thing we're looking for is up here where it says download this entire checklist for yourself. And this is pretty much a complete rundown of the new training plan. So in order to be a certified coach, you must take the protective behaviors, one of the 2 concussion courses, and the general orientation. You must have a background check and then certified in a minimum of 1 sport, which tennis counts today as that certification. For those recertifying, you must maintain your sports certification by taking an approved course that was on the previous page that I just showed you. And for those who are coaching unified sports, they'll just have to take this course as well. And then you'll send all of those documents that you get. Most of those will be certificates. You'll just send those back to me and you'll be certified and you'll receive a certification card. At the bottom, you'll see that we have bronze levels, silver, and gold. And this is just for coaches that want to go above and beyond. I won't go over everything for time purposes, but you'll see where it says the silver and gold level. The note in red says on the silver level, this is required to be a coach at USA National Games. And for gold, this is a requirement for, these are the requirements for coaching at a World Games level. And these requirements came from Special Olympics North America. So how they would just like pretty much every program to abide by these pretty much all of these documents. So everything you need is in place. Please check it out, print it out. Also, there is an incentive program. So if a coach is a bronze, silver, or gold level coach, they will receive a lanyard in that color. If a coach is a gold level coach, they'll receive a t-shirt in that color as well. So this is just something new. I think most of the coaches on here have heard about it, but not much has changed if you look at the certified coaches level from what we have been previously doing. The only thing that is different on that one is that we moved CPR certification to the bronze level. So it's no longer required directly to be a certified coach. So if there's any questions, of course, please don't hesitate to reach out. Again, Brandon, Jared, thank you guys so much. That was great information. I actually want to go play tennis now. So, but great information. I think we have another question.
We do. We have a couple. Mark wants to know, does Area 3 have any unified sports for adults?
Unified sports for adults. Mark, I will get with you on that one. Of course, there's bocce and of course a few other like swimming. A lot of our older athletes participate in, but that's something we're definitely working on as far as getting getting sports for our older population, and we have had a committee set up as well just to look into it, which that's been an issue around every program. But tennis is also a great sport for those older athletes as well. So we're definitely working to get something for the adults.
And then we have Brianna said, are there any more clinics near Area 5 or in Area 5? Brianna, right now we're doing virtual only, so you can attend any of them. We are looking to add more trainings coming up in the near future, so we will make sure you get that information, but also look at our website and things like that. Mark said we're doing a great job with this. Keep it up. Thanks, Mark. Irvin, I think that is everything. Thank you guys for being on the call today. We appreciate it.
Yes,
We're
thank you
enjoying this.
all.
Thanks, Alicia.
Yes, thank you all. Brandon, Jared, again, thank you all so much. Arkansas Cup, USTA, greatly appreciate everything you guys are doing. We are super excited about tennis and bringing it back to Arkansas. So definitely looking forward to the future.
Awesome. Thank you so much for including us, man.
Definitely. And we'll definitely be in touch pretty soon. So thank you all for jumping on. Again, we have another call tomorrow at 5 p.m. If anyone is interested, I have to see exactly what call that is. I'm sorry.
I think it's the practice schedules.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
I
practice
think.
schedules and layouts. Yes.
They're all
Yes.
running together at this point.
Yeah, it is
guys.
practice schedules and layouts. But just one more thing. We almost, if you had the coaches training menu, we almost finished pretty much every session that we said we would, and we are looking to do more sports here pretty soon. So please look out for another menu. But yes, we're looking at practice schedules and layouts tomorrow at 5 p.m. And then on Thursday at 2 p.m. we'll have another general session in Coaching 101 for anyone's that's interested. So thank you all for joining. Again, thank you all, Brandon, Jared, for all of that information. And if you guys need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us.
Thank you. Everybody have a good day.